Horses and archery. Today we're going to talk more about the horses. Um, what it is I've gotten three horses in, but they all been haltered, they all been ridden, and they've all been fooled with. They're two of them just needs to be brought further along in the training. One of them uh, had a little bit more training than the other ones, but it's there. He's given the owner just a little bit of problems. He's wanting to be obstinate, running off and bucking and stuff like that. And I don't think it's going to be much of a problem, but we'll see. The main thing is I wanted to. I'm gonna have to restart all of these horses. Like I said, all of them are halter broke. All of them been ridden. Okay. But when horses are brought to me, what I do is what I call a restart. And what I do is I'll start them completely from scratch, just like they've never been touched. And I will bring them through everything and look for holes. And what I mean by holes is either things that they've never been taught or things that they need a little more time with or whatever. Um, I don't get into the blame game, like this guy didn't show this and this guy, all that stuff. I don't do that. What I do is I look at the horses as individuals, and whatever it is, it is. It doesn't matter the reason why they're doing anything or why they are where they're at. Um, doesn't matter. They just are. So that's the way I look at it. I don't really listen to a lot of information about the horses before I get them. I take all that with a grain of salt. A lot of times I don't even ask anything about them other than do they really, are they bad about bucking? That's the only thing that I really ask because there's certain steps that I have to take before that. For that, but anyway, these horses are all about the same. The thing that's making this unique is that one is a quarter horse, one is a Belgium, and the other is a warm blood. Okay, one is going to be used for just the quarter horse. All of them are going to be used for just general trail riding and having fun with. The quarter horse is going to mainly be used for a ranch horse, not necessarily doing a whole lot of roping on, but just a horse to be used around the ranch and mounted archery. The Belgium is going to be used mainly for jousting and mounted archery. The warm blood is going to be used for jumping and mounted archery and/or mounted archery. And so that's what we're looking at. That's what how we're gonna steer the training towards. But I thought it would be interesting for y'all to see the difference on how different breeds, to compare the different breeds on how they accept their training and different techniques that you have to use with different breeds. And so here we go. Okay, this is the quarter horse, and again we have a Belgian, we have a quarter horse, and a warm blood. And out of the three, the Belgian's probably going to be the most forgiving. I don't know. In general, the breeds are Belgians are the most forgiving. Quarter horses are fairly forgiving. The warm blood's not going to be as forgiving. And what I mean by forgiving is that if you make a mistake with a real forgiving horse, it's pretty easy to correct. They let go of things pretty easy. If you make a mistake with a horse that's not so forgiving, like a warm blood or a Arabian or a hotter breed like that, they don't let things go quite so easy. It's a little harder to correct. This horse here, this is the second time I've done this horse. The first time, the day before, I tried to record it and camera blew over, didn't get it done. But what I'm trying to do is teach him to lead. And what I mean by lead is not putting a halter on him. They're already halter broke. I mean, you can put a halter on them and a lead rope and drag them around. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about by leading is a horse that is going to follow you. The rope will never come tight. So what I did is I offered it. I walked in there and offered him to lead, to follow. Okay, he didn't take me up on it. He wanted to stay over there by his buddies. So I roped him. And what I'm doing is I'm applying a little bit of pressure to his neck. Not hard, maybe 2 or 3 pounds. And 5 pounds at the most. I don't want to just choke the horse. I want him to come to me. I'm just making it uncomfortable. Now, if you notice here, he's following me. He's leading. I don't have any pressure on his neck. He's just following me. The rope's not tight. So now I give him a kind of refresher course of what happened the day before. I take the rope off and I'm offering it to him again to lead. Now I'm going to rebuild my loop, and what that does, that puts a little bit of pressure on him. Might make him a little bit nervous. See, like right there, he says, "Ooh, I don't know if I want to follow this guy." A little more apprehensive. So I offer it to him again. He can follow, or he can walk off and go back to his buddies. He decided to go back to his buddies. And so I rope him again. Now, guys, you can do this with a stick and string. You can do this with a flag. You can do this with a rope. You don't have to actually rope the horses. But if you rope them, it's a little better. It puts another aspect in there that helps you. It brings their emotions up, where it kind of triggers their flight instinct, and then you can switch them right back down and let them start thinking about things and come in. So that's what you're never going to get rid of that flight instinct in these horses. It's just there. What you want them to do is when it does happen, when something does trigger it, you want them to transition back to thinking and reasoning fairly quickly. So you want them to switch from their reaction side of the brain back to the thinking side of their brain real quick. So here we go again. You take the rope off and offer it to him again. Now, do you want to follow? Will you lead? And what I mean by lead is horse leading is a horse following the guy that's leading. Okay, now he kind of got stuck there, which he's passing some gas or something, but which is normal. So I'm going to offer it to him again. Be rebuilding my loop. Are you going to lead? Are you going to follow? And he says, yeah, sure, I will. So he's locked on pretty good, which is a good thing. He remembered what happened the day before. Now, yesterday, he wasn't as compliant. It's not that he was scared. He just did not want to comply. He was mad and didn't want to have nothing to do with me. And he bucked around and acted silly. By the end of the day, he decided that probably wasn't the best thing in the world to do. And you'll be able to see this on these other horses. The other horses, when we get to them, they've never had this done. So you'll see how they react. I wanted to show you this horse. Go ahead and show you this horse the second day so you can see the results of this. And some of y'all might be asking, how long does this take to get the horses to lead like this? Second or third time, they ought to be doing what this horse is doing. Be sure by your third time. Most of the time, it's just extreme cases that they're not doing this by their third session. If they're not doing it by their third session, that means you're probably doing something wrong. You're either not releasing at the same time, at the right, correct time, or you're putting too much pressure on them and scaring them. You don't want to scare them. okay? You want to stay calm and let him think. Now right here, I led him by his neck. Now I'm going to lead him by his front end. And what I did is I put one leg through that loop to keep that loop up by his front end. I don't want that loop sliding down around his flanks yet. Although he's going to learn, he's going to lead by his flanks. He's not prepared for it yet. I'm preparing for it yet. I'm preparing him for it. So what I'm doing is I let him by his neck. Now I'm leading him by his front end. I'm just going to swap legs and lead him from the other side. Put the other foot in it. And lead him by the other side. So again, you don't want to get these horses bouncing off the rails. Now they might bounce off the rails, but you don't want to be the cause of it. They decide to do that, it's their own business. But you don't want to get these horses excited. I'm not a big fan of lunging a horse. I don't sit in the middle of the arena and lunge them until they're completely tired and out of breath and then start messing with them. That's not what I do. I don't believe in that. I want the horse to respond fresh. Okay, now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lead him by his girth. So we did the neck, did the front end. Now I'm going to lead him by his girth. And what I'm doing is I'm just putting a little bit of pressure and walking off, okay? As soon as he responds to that pressure, I release it. Now, ultimately, what you want is to not have to put no pressure at all. You just want to walk off and the horse follow. And this horse right here, right now, he would do that. But I'm intentionally putting a little bit of pressure before I walk off, just so he can get used to feeling that. So now I'm going to slide it down around his girth. Again, I put just a slight amount of pressure, see me pull on it just a little bit, and I walked off. Now, yesterday when I did that, he took off bucking. And it's not necessarily that he was scared, he was just being obstinate. But you see today, he's a whole different horse. And if you notice, in this lariat, I'm using a metal Honda on it. So it slides real easy. If you notice, as soon as I take my pressure off, it loosens up. Now, it won't loosen as good from this side because the Honda's on the top. But if you look at when I was doing the other side, it just dropped real loose. So he led by his neck, by his front end, by his girth, by his flanks, and now he needs to lead by all 4 feet. Now this horse, you see me just reaching down and grabbing his feet. I've trimmed this horse. I've been around this horse a little bit. I trim him every 6 weeks for the owner. So I know that this horse is okay with his feet. The other 2 horses I don't know anything about. I just got them in. You're going to see me be a little more cautious of putting a rope on their feet. But again, what I'm doing is I just put a little bit pressure on his foot, ask him to give it. And he's giving it. Notice he's kind of crossing it in front of the other foot. That's what I'm looking for. And be relaxed. And we're going to go ahead and swap feet. I'm going to go to the left side. Everything you do at the right side of a horse, you need to do at the left side. You need to do both sides because it's each side is pretty independent of the other. Just because you can do something on one side of a horse doesn't mean that you can do it on the other side. And it's pretty interesting how they act like that. But nature's made them that way so they can pay attention to both sides at the same time, independently of each other. It's pretty interesting when you start looking at that. Again, you see how he's crossing his front foot? So he's leading real well. I'm going to see if he'll come back and just step. See how he steps out with it? That's good. That's real good. Back legs are kind of crossing. Means he's relaxed. He's not really just shuffling a whole real bad. He's pretty relaxed with it, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to switch to his back feet. And again, I could edit all of this and cut all this out and make the video shorter. But I wanted y'all to see everything. In these videos right here, they might run a little longer, but I'm not going to edit it because there's things that happens that I want you to see. It's not just perfect scenario that some of these guys want you to believe. Every horse is an individual, and you have to do different things, and they're going to react differently. Some of them are going to take this real easily, like this one, and some of them aren't. Now, this horse may have had this done with him before in years past. I know he was started by a roper. He was started by a guy that's pretty well known in vaquero style roping. And so I imagine he's had his feet roped and stuff before. It's just been a long time. And again, I don't know what's happened to him, why he decided all of a sudden he wanted to be the boss of the world. But that's what this horse's main issue is. He's just being bossy and obstinate. So we're going to restart him. Teach him how to give the pressure. And when you have a horse that's running off like these horses are, and just not really paying attention, fighting a bit and doing all this other stuff, the reason why they're doing that is because they're not giving the pressure properly. And for whatever reason, either they weren't taught to give the pressure properly in the first place, or what they have been taught hasn't been maintained. And they need a refresher course. But whenever you have a horse that bucks or that runs off or that's not responsive, it's because they haven't been taught to give the pressure. And this teaching a horse to lead is the very first thing to do in their training process. Now, right here, what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to exit the arena and shut the gate, kind of step back, and release the horse. Okay? Now, if you remember, this whole point of this exercise is I want this horse to lead. I want to walk into this round pen, and I want him to lock on to me. I want to offer it to him and give my intent for him to follow, and I want him to follow. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, you see, he doesn't know for sure if he wants to do it. He's still kind of apprehensive. He doesn't know if he can fully trust me yet. But what I'm going to do is just offer it to him. You want to follow? If you notice, I didn't have to rope him, didn't have to go put a halter on him, didn't have to do anything. I just had my intent, my body intent. And he came on, he locked on, and he followed me. Good deal. That was the whole point of this exercise, is to teach the horse to lead. And he led. So I'm going to just kind of pet him down, let him know, hey, it's a good thing. If you notice right there, he's locking on to me. He's right there. He's ready to lead. I'll pick my rope up, and I'm just going to walk off. Now he's going to follow me for a little while. Let's see. Reassure him here. And he's going to follow me to the gate. Now, if you notice a difference in my intent, I'm just going to the gate. Now, he followed me, and I'm going to reward him kind of for it, reassure him for it. But there was a difference in the way I walked when I wanted him to follow me, and the way I walked when I was just leaving. And they'll pick that up. They'll understand it.